to We Are Live. Let's go. Y'all, welcome to the stream. Welcome to this episode, this particular day of Track Talk live stream. Mark is in the building. Mark Coogan, how are you feeling today? I appreciate you hopping in. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing today. If you're coming in for the first time, either on TikTok, on Twitch, or YouTube, make sure that you are sharing out the live. If you have a platform where you can tap the screen and like the live, make sure that you are doing so. I appreciate you hopping in so much. If you have never been to the stream before, welcome to the family. Welcome to Track Talk. These are 20 to 30 minute long form consultations on the structure of your music, your mix and master, production elements, sound design, and lyric structure. We're going to get into the nuances of your creativity. So we're going to dive into all of those details in order to offer some specific and actionable feedback on the structure of your music. If that sounds interesting to you, DJ Opal's in the building. What's up, DJ Opal? If that sounds interesting to you, then if you're on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link. And if you are over on Twitch, hit !submit. On YouTube, go to my description, and you'll see everything that you need right there. We're going to get moving with some music here in a little bit, but make sure you're tapping the screen, share out the live with a few people. And if you're on TikTok, make sure you send in your heart me for the day. It does help boost the live stream as well as give you more exposure as well. So let me get a couple things in order here, and then we'll kickstart the stream. Opal, I hope you're doing amazing. How are you feeling today? Let me double check something here. Let me pull up this other stream. Give me 1 second, y'all. I appreciate y'all hopping in. I appreciate you hopping in. We'll get things flowing here in just a second. I would love to get to some consultations today. So if you are interested in a consultation, make sure that you find the link and that you get yourself up on the board. Let me just double check. I'm going to switch accounts over here real quick. Yeah. Latitude's in the building. What's up, Latitude? Latitude Studio South. How are you feeling today? Appreciate you hopping in. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Let's see. Let's get things moving here. Let me start getting some things flowing on this account here. Let's get the likes to 5,000 likes. So I do want to do some giveaways today as well. No worries at all. Upal. Sorry, I can't talk. No worries at all. We're just getting things flowing. We always have a really, really generous community as well. So hopefully we have someone who can come in, who can help you out, who can put you up on the board as well. We did that yesterday as well, where someone is able to get themselves up on the board for free due to either giveaways or just the generosity of the community that we have here. So I do hopefully TikTok will do its thing here in a second, and we'll be able to get some things rolling. And welcome in, Wood, welcome in as well. I appreciate Woodstone, appreciate you hopping in. Welcome in over on Twitch as well, on YouTube. I appreciate y'all hopping in. Quick reminder that if you are wanting to submit for a consultation, these are not quick reviews. There's no trash or pass. There's no ratings or polls. This is a 20 to 30 minute multiple listen, long form breakdown of the structure of your music. So we do take 20 to 30 minutes long, getting into the details of your mix and master, production elements, sound design, lyric and song structure and formatting, so on and so on. So the goal of this live stream is just to offer tools, offer actionable feedback, and a professional second set of ears on what you're doing creatively. So if that is interesting to you, if you're on TikTok, just go to my profile, click on the link. On YouTube, go to my description. On Twitch, hit !submit, and you'll see all of the details right there in order for you to submit your music. In between, I'll be working on through some projects and stuff that I'm building up for kind of an 80s synth pop catalog that I'm building up right now for the intention of being pitched to a library. So we're going to be working through some projects as we go. If you want to see that part of the screen, that's on YouTube and Twitch. I'll be able to kind of switch back and forth here sporadically throughout the live stream. Woodstone, I appreciate you hopping in. Thank you so much for being here. Let me update this real quick over here. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure all this is coming in clear. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And this actually does, hold on. That's crazy. It does show a little bit. It does show a little bit. That'll do. That'll work. That's not very helpful. That's not very helpful, but I can show a little bit of what's going on over here. Woodstone, thank you so much for being in the building. I appreciate y'all joining the live stream. Make sure y'all are tapping the screen. Let's get it to 5,000 likes, and make sure you share out the live with a few people before we get started with the music. Hopefully we can get some of the family in from yesterday. Deb had their credit, so I want to make sure that they get up on the board today as well. But let's get into this. Let's get into this track here real quick. This is Mellotron is kind of kicking us off here. It's so massive. It's crazy looking. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. I love this. Trent is in the building. What's up, Trent? Let me switch back here. Trent, welcome in. My regular live schedule, it honestly has been kind of all over the place. Exposed, welcome in. Sorry, I just saw you over on YouTube. I got 3 screens here, so I'm bouncing back and forth. I'm also trying to make sure I get this DAW set up, so I'm looking at everything at the same time. Look here, not Twitch. I was curious at what point it says. No, Twitch is on there. What do you mean? I was guessing you look here. What do you mean guessing you look here, not Twitch? It's in the same spot for me. It's in the same spot. So I can see YouTube, I can see Twitch. It should be, if it's not coming through, your comment was probably blocked by a bot or something like that. Let me go back to some of these other. Yeah, I see the chat there, but it's the same for me. So it all comes to the same place. So I see Twitch and YouTube in the same thing right here. So I can see some of the stuff that's on Twitch, but it's on YouTube as well. So if you're on Twitch, I should be able to see it there. Unless you put something there and I didn't see it, then it was probably blocked for some reason. But otherwise, I do see YouTube right now as well. And I've got TikTok up on another screen as well. My regular live schedule is pretty sporadic right now. We had people here in the studio today, kind of all over the place, fixing some like dryer vent in some part of a wall and stuff like that. That is weird. I can try to see, but I typically, I go live almost every day, and I typically get the Twitch stream over here. And I do, I can see it. I can actually see like the bots and stuff cut in or something like that. So it might have been just some freak kind of issue where they blocked something. I don't know why. I never know why things happen. But regardless, I can see your chat on YouTube. I can't see you on YouTube. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your patience with that as well. But yeah, my live schedule is kind of Live Max. I see you over on, I see Twitch. I see Live Max on. Is that Exposed? Is that the same person? Is that what I'm seeing there as well? Neonix, welcome in. Zach Angel, welcome in. I appreciate y'all hopping in over on TikTok. But yeah, live schedules all over the place. I'm on later again today. I typically try to be on at like 2 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Central Time, but that has not worked out the last like couple months, just because it's been all over the place. I've got people like fixing stuff in the wall behind the room here, and that makes it really hard to live stream. So same today, they didn't leave till like, an hour ago or so, and I was able to kind of get back on and start work again. The real James, welcome in as well. So it's inconsistent, but typically I'm Central Time, so typically it's going to be afternoon Central Time. That's about as loose as I can get it right now. I would like to be more consistent, but it depends on a lot of other factors. It depends on the projects that I have. It depends on, just kind of how much I have going on all at once. But ideally, early afternoon Central Time. User 33, appreciate you hopping in. Noki is in the building. Noki, welcome in. Okay, so Live Max or 5 Max. Can't see y'all. Goodness gracious. 5 Max is the same as Exposed. Yeah, so I do see that chat. It just might have gotten blocked for some reason. I don't know why. I was curious, at one point, is something considered music? And do you, Tribalist, welcome in on YouTube as well. It's good to see you. I got to focus, y'all. My ADHD is beating me up. I was curious, at what point is something considered music? And do you accept instrumental recordings? Generally speaking, music is just a combination, I'm going to say this to a loose extent. Debbie's in the building. What's up, Debbie? Debbie, let me know if you have time for a track, and I'll get you up on the board as well. I appreciate you hopping in on TikTok. Any combination of, sounds and stuff put to some sort of a structure that is created by humans. I guess that's kind of okay, perfect, Debbie. I got you. That to me is kind of the loose description, but like, I don't know which, it's beautiful, Tribalist. I love it so much. Okay, perfect, Deb. Send it to the email. And we'll get you up on the board. Noki, thank you so much for the roses. I appreciate you a lot. Just working on the track using your advice and ideas. Thank you so much, Tribalist. I'm so glad to hear that was helpful for you. Give me 1 second. Let me update the line here. Let me update the line here. Dun, dun. And let's do this. I'm actually going to switch something here. Give me 1 second. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. I got a bunch of settings. I gotta switch up here, y'all. So give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Mm-hmm. Driving me nuts. All right, give me a second. One moment, y'all. One moment, one moment. Let me get this set up for y'all. The heck? This is not working. Give me one moment. This is driving me nuts. This is driving me nuts. Give me one. Give me 1 sec. Give me 1 second. Uh, I'm just gonna do this. Jesus. 1 sec, y'all. Oh, it's a nightmare. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I don't know what the heck is going on. Give me a second, y'all. I gotta reset. I gotta reset something on TikTok. Twitch and YouTube, y'all are good to go. Twitch and YouTube, y'all are good to go. But this is driving me nuts. This is driving me nuts. All right, give me a moment. I gotta redo this. Hold on. Maybe I'll just switch back here. Yeah, that's crazy. It's driving me nuts. Okay, we'll switch back here. We'll switch back to our normal screen. This is driving me crazy. Okay, let me I'm gonna switch that up in the next few days because it's driving me nuts, and TikTok has just been ridiculous lately. So we love you, TikTok, but you're a nightmare sometimes. All right, let me get a couple things going. Ava's in the building. What's up, Ava? Welcome in to the live stream. Sorry, I should be able to focus a little bit better now, but I've been dealing with all kinds of like random weird little technical things. So let me get Debbie. It's going pretty good. I appreciate you hopping in. Let me get Debbie up on the board. I got you with your 15 from yesterday. Let me get this up here and let me switch a couple things here in a moment. And let me clear you from the list since now we got you off the list. Beautiful. I'm so glad you were able to hop back in. I'll be looking out for the email that you can find at my profile if you click on that link there. But yeah, we're gonna get into some consultations here in just a little bit, y'all. Sorry, I'm working through some technical stuff as always. It's definitely been interesting here for a couple months here. Okay, perfect. Frankie's in the building. Welcome in, Frankie. Love the MIDI keyboard collection. I just got my first. Let's go. So the only MIDI keyboards that I mean, they technically all have MIDI, but they're all synthesizers actually, like analog synthesizers. So this is the MIDI keyboard that I use as a controller, as a USB controller. It's the Keylab Essential 61. I love it. It's a great MIDI controller. And then the only other MIDI controller, if I switch back here, is the white one right there. The white one right there in the middle, that's a KeyStep Pro. That's a sequencer at a MIDI controller. Everything else is an analog synthesizer. So that's a Triton. That's a digital workstation Triton LE from like the 90s. Then I've got a DX21, an SK1, a Monologue, a Minilog actually. I'm sorry, and a Poly D, and then a Juno 106, and a couple things on the other side of the room here. I have another set of synthesizers and stuff over here. But yeah, all of the stuff I have on the wall outside of the KeyStep Pro are like. Some of them are vintage, some of them are not. Some of them are new and more modern, but they're all analog synthesizers. Like my favorite thing in the world. They're my babies. Okay, let me. What'd you get for your first one though? I'm so excited. I love that. It's so much. It's infinite. As someone who's like, I think I have like 12 synths or something like something like that here in the studio, and I want infinitely more. I love them. I love synthesizers so much. It's such a fun medium for music. I like it because it to me is kind of like the perfect combination of like engineering and structure and like a key bed and creativity as a piano. I've been playing piano since I was 6 years old. So like having the key bed of a piano, and then I have some semi-modular stuff, but having the key bed of a piano and like this interface that combines all the engineering and production stuff that I love to do, to me, it's so fun. The Akai MPK Mini, of course, that's like the staple first MIDI controller. I love it. It's such a great first controller. Amazing. The Wally, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. I am Ali. Thanks so much for hopping in as well. Y'all keep tapping the screen. Send in the live, or sorry, y'all, I literally cannot talk today. My brain is mush. It is not working. It is all over the place right now. So I apologize in advance for the fact that I'm not saying things right. Adonis, welcome in. It's not going too well so far. Can I send you some lyrics, and in the future you can make them come off? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you're ever interested in production, it's what I do. You know, I have a couple, 3 or 4 things that I do full time in music, but full production is a big part of that. Probably the majority of what I do is production. DJ Scotty, thank you so much for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. Adonis, it's so good to see you. Oh yeah, so if you've got lyrics, in fact, most of the projects I'm working on right now are artists that have like lyrics, they have vocals, and I'm building out full production structures for them currently to put their lyrics to. So yeah, I love doing stuff like that. If you're ever interested in working, just shoot me a DM, or you can reach out through my website as well. Of course, theobsidiankey.com. You can find it at my link, or just shoot me a DM, preferably on Instagram. It's just easier for me to get to. But I would love to work with you, man. Would love to build a production for you. All right, let me double check a couple things. We're gonna get into Deb's track here. Noki, thank you. I see those 4 more roses. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the perfume. Thank you for the perfume as well. I appreciate it. Let's get into some music, y'all. Let me pull up this track. This is called Maid of Honor. And let's see what I got here. We're gonna go ahead and this is a Deb. Deb left the chat is the name of the artist. Deb, hop in the chat. Just let me know that you're here so that I can make sure that I don't listen without you. I'm sure you are, but just want to double check really quick. Let me go ahead and get into reading the details of this record that I have right here. Perfect. Thank you. I just always want to double check. Hi, Philip. I've been watching your stuff for so long. You have such a great energy and provide excellent feedback in an upbeat and honest manner. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate that so much. Thank you times a million for listening to this track. It's a raw demo. If you could offer any suggestions, tips, etc., to make the sound better, I would be super grateful. The goal is for this song to feel and have a somber and soft vibe. Warm wishes and regards from Canada. Let's go. Deb, thank you so much for this. This track is called, what's up, Derek Bennett? Good to see you, bro. This track is called Maid of Honor. Let me get it downloaded really quick. Quick reminder, Tribalist, I see you over on TikTok too. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok right now. Let's get into some music, y'all. Let's get into some music. We have Maid of Honor by Deb. Deb, give me a quick update on your role in this track, right? So the production that I hear, what is that from? Is that you playing instruments? Is that a beat that you got? I'll hear some of it in a second, obviously, but let me know who is handling all of it. Are you handling the mix, production, and writing and all of that, so on and so on? Let me know. Eating a burger at Sonic after work. Thought I'd tune in while I chill. I love it, Tribalist. Sounds great. Burger sounds fantastic right now. But let's get into this track. This is Maid of Honor. Singer, songwriter, and playing piano. Beautiful. You told me. Okay, awesome. This is a fresh demo. You said I was a rare star in the sky. You told me your secrets and more. You said our era isn't over yet. You said I'd be your maid of honor. But it's 10 years now. I haven't heard from you. I remember when I had my. Yeah, this is super raw. I'm excited. I'm excited to get into this. We were in the basement of your parents' house. You said you'd keep the fuckboy list I made. Curated in history class. You said our era isn't over. Do you have a setup to record? Like a microphone and interface and everything? Talk to me about that setup a little bit. But it's 10 years now. I haven't
Does he give you those butterflies you wanna feel? Does he cherish your heart? They never did. Glad to
Just mic and piano. Okay, nice.
I've become the
Yeah, it's just an idea demo. This is not recorded or like fully built out or recorded at all. It's just kind of an idea demo.
Under the swings we swayed, your whispers of our love, twisting and breaking, twisting and breaking. They don't know.
You have a nice voice, though. I'm excited for you to actually start tracking.
You told me your secrets and more.
Michael, welcome in.
You said our era isn't over yet. You didn't invite me to your wedding. It's 10 years now. I don't think I'll ever, no, never hear from you.
Let's go. Y'all show some love to Deb left the chat. They're over on TikTok right now, so show some love to the family. Deb has been so supportive, so generous with her time and energy here in the live stream. So one more time, show some love to Deb. First of all, I want to commend you on your vulnerability in sending something so raw. This is the stuff that I love, because we really get to build and have ideas and structure from scratch, which is always really, really fun for me. And we get to kind of get into the details of the record before it's like overblown, right? We get to kind of shape it and mold it a little bit, which is always really fun. So I really do appreciate your vulnerability in sending such a raw record, an early demo like this. I know it's not easy to do. That's very vulnerable. And so I appreciate that a lot, Deb. So thank you so much for doing this. Really, this is the smallest detail in the world, and you can let me know what DAW you're tracking on, even if it's free. But let me know what you're tracking on. One of the so I totally understand, and you're in good hands. This is a good space. It's a positive space. If you want, I'm looking for clients that do it. I do it for free. I mean, that's huge, Derek. That's huge. I would probably take Derek up on that opportunity. It's not every day that you're going to get something built out for free. That's huge. That's huge. It's huge. So even if you're just wanting to get some like really, really solid work done and like a really core structure built out for you, I think that'd be a good opportunity for you, especially with like acoustic stuff like this. I think that'd be really nice. But anyways, that's Derek Bennett. He's an amazing producer as well. Let's get into it. This is Maid of Honor right off the bat, even in your demos, just for the sake of you and this is what I'm talking about with this community. It's so generous. It's so just mind-blowing to me. The just amount of support and generosity that this community has for each other. That means so much to me. So thank you for offering that, Derek. That means a lot. First of all, I would just get both of these panned back to the center. You just have a mono signal from your piano and a mono signal from your vocal. So just get them both back to the middle. Right now, the piano's all the way to the right and the vocals all the way to the left. So just for the sake of like getting everything feeling like it's a little bit more connected, I know this is just a demo. I would have you retrack everything going into an actual record. But I would just get everything back kind of in the same position of it's in D major, right? So just get all of this right back to the middle so that it's not panned all the way to either side, even on a demo. Just makes it easier for you to kind of articulate what you're doing in your ideas, and it's a little bit easier to kind of perceive what's going on in the record. Just get everything right back to the middle, and then you can always, as you track and as you get produced and stuff like that, you can always build out and pan things around. But I would just get both those tracks back to the middle so it's not all the way to the left. The other thing, potentially what's happening, this happens every once in a while, depending on the DAW that you're using. If you're obviously recording in mono, but it could be that you're like recording into a stereo track. So it's just recording like one side or something. So basically your vocal, because it's not a stereo signal, is just like going left. It's just doing like a left mono instead of just like a mono track right down the middle. So that might be the case, might not be the case, but when you're tracking your vocals, just create a mono track and then run it right down the middle. If you want a bigger stereo image, you can double track some vocals. You can have a stereo aux with some effects and reverbs and stuff, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. Just get that vocal back to the middle. All right, let's run it from the top. So the main thing, this is obviously not produced and not mixed, so I don't want to talk about that too much. I want to talk about like progression and structure, songwriting, stuff like that. So let's get into the track. Once again, this is Deb Left the Chat, and the song is called Maid of Honor. Just a quick reminder that if you do want to submit your music for a consultation, just like we're doing here, and you want to get into the details of your music, we spend about 20 to 30 minutes going multiple times through your song to really get into the nuance and the details of your record. So if you would like a consultation, just follow the link, follow the steps that are right here on the screen, and we'll get you moving in the right direction. Let's get into it. I'm excited. Let's run it back into this track.
I remember that night you told me, was it out of recklessness or pure love? I can't tell. You said I was a rare star in the sky. You told me your secrets and more. You said our era isn't.
Okay, so first off, just from a structural standpoint, now I'm a fan of a structure that has a lot of nuance to it and moves and shifts and the timing changes and the the progression counts change and stuff like that. But I would give yourself like a little bit more consistency with this record, especially in your like first verse and hook, right? So once again, this is C major. So you're going minor first. And then you walk up. So what I would encourage you to do is take that structure that you already have right there that's really consistent and then repeat it. So you get some level of repetition, some level of like a format and a structure to the song, as opposed to having like your first progression there and then it changes and then it kind of changes again. And then you go back to the first changed one and then maybe go back to the hook, which is, the same first progression again. I would find some level of like a consistent loop you can go on for that verse and then repeat it. So just as an example, right? If you have, let me move my keyboard down a little bit. And then back. And then back in. You hear how like just the repetition of, and I'm making up notes, right? But like making up the melody, and I obviously don't know the lyrics and stuff yet, just kind of based off the same progression, close to the same progression. You can hear how immediately having the repetition of that part again, the repetition of chord progression and the repetition of that same melody happening again, it immediately feels like a song. Like it immediately feels like something that I can remember, that I can latch onto. It feels emotional. It feels consistent. And that's part of, I think, what's going to allow this song to stick for you is the ability for people to very easily and very quickly latch onto your song structure and remember what's going on, right? So when you start getting into this first progression of having that repetition and then also having the and then back and then right there you can add like a little string starts to come in. Like imagine like a cello or like a violin, some strings come in right there to kind of add in the second time you go through that verse or a B section to the verse, you add a little bit of energy. It starts to grow a little bit. It starts to swell a little bit. And then you start to build your dynamics up just a little bit. But that repetition makes it so much easier for the consumer to latch onto what you're doing. If there's constantly melody changes, constantly chord changes, and then pauses and then different chord change, it might be beautiful. And it would be, I do believe, like it might be beautiful and it might be really engaging, but it won't stick because you don't have the repetition or it's an inconsistent song format, right? So I would definitely encourage you to go back into the structure a little bit, even as simple as it is, and find some really consistent pockets that you can repeat really strategically as well. And then vocally, you just got to kind of find how that fits in there. Same tribalist, same. All right, let me go a little bit further. I kind of want to get into your hook a little bit. Let's keep it moving.
on it, but it's 10 years now. I haven't heard from you. That our era isn't over yet. You told me your secrets and more. You said our era isn't over yet.
You have a great, I know this is a very like close proximity, very like restrained vocal take. Obviously, it's just like a idea demo, but you do have a really good voice. I am excited to hear you sing these melodies because you have great pitch control. You have a really, really nice voice.
You said I'd be your maid of honor.
Is that the hook?
But it's 10 years now. I haven't heard from you.
What is the lyric that the hook starts on?
I remember when I had my first drink at 17.
Kieran, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Sterling, welcome in.
Of your parents' house. You said you'd keep the fuck boy.
Same thing, like keep that rhythm consistent, keep the structure consistent there. Go back into the melodies again. Same thing on the second verse.
Boyless I made. Curated in history class. You said our era isn't over yet. You said I'd be your maid of honor. But it's 10 years now. I haven't heard from you. Does he give you those books?
Okay, I see. Okay, so here's my gut reaction to the structure of it is I'm having a little bit, and some of this is because it's so simple and there's no music built up around it. So I completely understand that as well. But one of the things that I'm kind of realizing is how difficult it is to like find where you, because of the progression changes, melodic changes we already talked about, but also in some, let me throw up the line. I got you. Oh, it's not there. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I got you. Yeah. It's not on the screen. I have to throw it up. Give me one moment. It'll pop up there. Boom. There she is. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Line should be up on the screen. I'm having a hard time kind of seeing where I am in the song and like finding the structure of the song between the verses, between the pre that you have there, and then kind of where the hook starts. I would encourage you to have like a really consistent hook as well. You have great melodies in here as well. Like I said, you have a great voice. You have some really good melodies in here, and I would love to hear some of those repeated and obviously built out in a production. So I want to hear that maid of honor part. I feel like you could expound, or you could expand on those lyrics just a little bit there, to give you, because it's like, you said you're maid of honor. Some 10 years in heaven. That little last like part right there almost sounds like the ending of a hook, not necessarily like the start and the finish being really fast. So let me hear that again really quick. Fool on a Hill, welcome in.
But it's 10 years now. I haven't heard from you.
It's like that sounds like the end of a hook, right? So I would almost like, said you're made of honor. Sunlit down outside. You said you made my maid of honor. It's been 10 years now, and I haven't heard from you. Something, right? Like I feel like it needs like a first line to give you more structure, like a first initial line to give you more context, more structure, and then like end with that, right? So like, you said you made my maid of honor, but it's done. And then do that next line. You said you made my maid of honor, but it's been 10 years and I haven't heard from you. And then you go like into the next part of the song, right? But it's like, again, like how you do this is completely, you're the artist, you're the writer, you're the vocalist. So I want to make sure that however you do this is authentic. It feels real to you. I don't want to like make up a context for you. But I think for me, the biggest thing I want you to like point your attention towards is structure, because It's going to be a good production on the song. You do have a good voice and you're a good songwriter. So it's just taking the good voice and the songwriting and putting it into like a structure that like is palatable by a consumer, right? Like in a structure that is catchy, it's repetitive, but still feels very creative and kind of indie folky, which I'm kind of assuming some of what you are wanting to do here. Let me push a little bit farther forward as well, but I really like what you're doing. And it's also like a good concept for a song. Like I haven't really heard. To me, it's like one of my biggest compliments as a songwriter is I don't feel like I've heard this song really, or at least not a lot of times. Like we've heard some songs a lot of times, if you kind of know what I mean, where it's like, oh yeah, I've heard this story, I've heard this song, Danny, welcome in, a lot of times. But this is a cool perspective, and I like the way that you're building out your lyrics. I just think it needs a little bit more structure, and you're going to be in a great spot.
Your whispers of our
That'll definitely,
love,
yeah, the list does go away. I can throw it back up if you need it.
twisting and breaking. They don't know.
Got you, Adonis. Got you.
Said I was a rare star in the sky.
Yeah, the list moves. The list moves all the time because we got all these different things. We can throw up Pro Tools. We're throwing up other cameras and stuff like that. So yeah, I can throw up the list at any time. Let me get you up there really quick. And then we'll go through the end of the song here. But I got you. I got your 20. I appreciate you so much, man. I'll double check if TK's here too. We might just throw you straight up next. All right, let's see where the track is.
Told
Beautiful.
me your secrets and more. You said our era isn't over yet. You didn't invite me to your wedding. It's 10 years now.
Robbie, welcome in. Nick, welcome in.
Never hear from you.
Yeah, y'all show some love. Debbie, thank you so much for sending this in. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate you being so vulnerable with this demo. I really do like Nina. Welcome in as well. I appreciate you being here. I really like your voice and I like your songwriting style. I like the perspective that you hold in this lyric. I feel like it's really engaging and has a lot of potential. The biggest thing we gotta focus on is structure, and production will help. Right, having like a little more structure in the production and the music will definitely help you feel like you have a little bit more of a guideline of like where to go with your lyrics and where to go with your melody choices and stuff like that. But I really enjoy what you're doing creatively. Derek said he'll be waiting. So yeah, if that does feel like something, there's no pressure, of course, but if that does feel like something that you'd be interested in, I would definitely reach out to Derek so we can start to build a structure for you. And then just find some ways within that melody and within those lyrics to kind of compartmentalize the song a little bit so it doesn't bleed into each segment too much, but it feels like there's a verse and a hook and a verse and a hook, and it feels consistent and it feels distinct to its own segment. But I love what you're doing. Y'all show some love, and I really can't wait. I really can't wait to hear you sing, like really, really sing. Because I know right now we're hearing the kind of the restrained early demo of this, but you have a voice. I can tell you got a voice. I hear what's going on there. You do have a voice, so I'm really excited for you to actually track this and get us a good early demo of this actual song structure, because I think you have so much potential. One more time for Deb. Deb, thank you so much for the love and support as always. We have Adonis in the building. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. It's all love from this side. Let's go. Tribalist, I appreciate you too. Quick reminder, if you are wanting to submit for a consultation, we got a few more I want to get to today. We've got Adonis in the building. So Adonis, make sure you're in the chat on whichever platform. I see you on Twitch, and I've seen you on different platforms as well. But make sure you're in the chat just so when we pull up this track, you are present for it. Beautiful. I see you. Let's get into it. But if you do want to submit, these are 20 to 30 minute consultations. These are long form breakdowns. We're going to get into the weeds. We're going to talk in depth about, depending on the structure, kind of depends on the song and what you're looking for. But we're going to talk about the mix and master, production elements, sound design, and lyric structure. We're going to go deep and we're going to spend some time on it. Like I said, it's multiple listens, usually 2 to 3 times through the song, multiple times. We're going to spend 20 to 30 minutes really getting into the details of what you're doing. Derek, I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for hopping in. I appreciate the support and also your generosity with that. That's awesome. I appreciate that a lot. Show some love. All right, let's get it. This is Adonis. This is a new track for the New Year's EP. Let's get into it. If you're on TikTok, keep tapping the screen. Make sure you're liking the live. Share out the live with just a few people you think would be interested in what we're doing. Mia, thank you so much for hopping in as well. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the heart me. Noki, I appreciate your gifts as well. Y'all are amazing. So kind. Tan Man, thanks for hopping in as well. But if you want to submit over on TikTok, just follow the steps that are right here on the screen, and you'll get everything you need in order to get yourself up on the board. If you're on YouTube, go to my description. If you're on Twitch, hit !submit, and that same link will pop up for you right there. Let's get into it. Let's see if it downloaded. It did not. All right. ¿Dónde está? Let's go. I'm excited. This is Adonis. ¿Dónde está? Let's run it, man. I'm excited. Let me get it downloaded, and then we'll fire it up. Dun, dun, dun. All right, Adonis, give me all of the details. Talk to me about what you're looking for and the structure of this track, and let's get into it, man. I'm excited. I don't think I've heard this before, have I?
No sales de mi mente, me tiene en cuarentena como 2020.
Cool, sounds good.
Este dolor es tan fuerte como el Popeye. Bebé, todo aquí se siente diferente. ¿Dónde estás? No puedo borrarte. A ti vi la memoria desde el primer día. Desde la primera cita veía ven al lado. Ese culo me motiva sin decirme nada, nada. Baby, ¿dónde estás? Let's just press rewind and baby, let's go back in time. Voy hablándole a la luna como Bruno Mars. Bebé, ya tú sabes que yo soy tu only fan. No hay alguien más. Escucho una voz, se dicen que te bote. No sé qué te hice, bebé, tu cora está frozen. Como el hielo dentro de mi copa de roce. Pero te pones caliente después de las 12. Mami, pensé que nunca te iba a seguir. Tengo una pregunta, dime si piensas en mí. Y no te confundas, si solo pienso en ti. No ando en busca, no, solo quiero a ti.
Pink Noise, welcome in.
Dime dónde, dime dónde, dime dónde te escondes. Tiraste mis flores, era left on your door. ¿Dónde estás? No puedo borrarte. A ti vi la memoria
Mark,
desde
welcome
el
in.
primer día. Desde la primera cita veía ven al lado. Ese culo me
Thank you for the
motiva
rose,
sin
tribalist.
decirme nada, nada. Baby, ¿dónde estás? Let's just press rewind and baby, let's go back in time. Voy hablándole a la luna como Bruno Mars. Bebé, ya tú sabes que yo soy tu only fan. No hay alguien más.
Production mix sounds pretty good. Nice and full, nice and wide, really dynamic. Hold on. Oh, it just randomly went to the next track. I was like, what is happening right there? Yo, show some love. Show some love, show some love, show some love. That is, I don't know, it's like, why is it playing another track? That is Adonis right here in the chat. They're on TikTok and Twitch currently, but y'all show some love to the family. I love Adonis's work. He's sent in plenty of tracks before. Really enjoy what you do, man. Let's run it from the top. Let's get straight into the details of this one, man. Let's dive into it because you've got this pretty much on the finish line. I just want to talk through like a couple little aspects of like clarity in the vocal that I'm listening for and some balancing things. But yeah, show some love to Adonis. That is Donde Está. Let's get into the details, man. But show some love one more time. Show some love one more time. Once again, if you want to submit, find my link It's in the description on YouTube, !submit on Twitch, and it's at my profile. If you click on my profile on TikTok, you'll see the link. If you would like to submit for a long-form consultation to get into the details of your music, get a professional second set of ears on what you're doing creatively. And for those of you who don't know as well, if you are coming in for the first time or you're early, you haven't been here many times before, my name is Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. It's what I do for a living. It's what I've done for 13 plus years. I'm also a classically trained musician. So if you are wanting to get into the details of your music, that is the perspective that we're coming from. Our goal is just to offer value, offer actionable feedback on the structure of your music. If that sounds good to you, get yourself up on the board. All right, let's run it. Let's run it from the top. This is Adonis. Let's run it. Yeah, production mix sounds nice. It's wide, it's pretty vibrant, pretty open.
No sales de mi mente, me tiene en cuarentena como 2020. Este dolor es tan fuerte como el... ¿Dónde estás? No puedo borrarte. A ti no sales de mi mente, me tiene en cuarentena como 2020.
Okay, so well, a couple little details I want to listen for here on the mixing side. So stylistically, I like what's happening. So I like the over fuzzy saturated vocal here, and then you clear it up just a little bit for the lead vocal that comes over the top of that here in just a few seconds. The thing that I'm kind of listening for is it's like not big enough of a difference to me to like really feel the change between this filtered vocal and the othered vocal. This one just sounds like, to be honest, like a slightly more poorly mixed vocal and then a more open one, just because it's like a little bit boomy in the low mids. It's like a little bit forward there. Marketing business, welcome in. Thanks for hopping in. I appreciate you being here. So you get a little bit of mud there. Now I know some of that's intentional with the way that you're filtering and the way that you're kind of processing that and the stylistic choices that you're making. But I would prefer to maybe pull out some of the low end energy there. Maybe around 200 to 300 hertz. Give yourself just a little bit of a notch down, a bell curve down that gives you a bit more openness, a bit more clarity there, and actually filter that vocal even more. So if you filter that up a little bit more and down a little bit more, you high and low pass a little bit tighter, it'll be more of a dramatic difference between that vocal and the vocal that comes over the top. This one just sounds kind of like a slightly more muddy version of the other one, but it doesn't give you like a big change or a big like sound design or dynamic or production change between the two. So I personally would make it a little bit more obvious. I'd make it a little bit more dramatic of a change in that transition by filtering this even just a little bit more. Take out some of the low end boominess and muddiness that you're hearing, maybe even filter down the top end just a little bit more so it feels a lot more intentional. It feels like a lot more pointed when you're building out the vocal production here. And then it's also that much more obvious whenever you move into the like main lead vocal, your kind of primary lead vocal here right after this. Skip, welcome in. And so that vocal feels like it really, really opens up quite a bit in contrast to the one that came right before it.
Baby, ¿dónde estás? Let's just press rewind and baby, let's go back in time. Estoy hablándole a la luna como Bruno Mars. Bebé, ya tú sabes que
good consistent melodies.
No hay alguien más. Escucho una voz, dicen que te bote. No sé qué te hice, bebé, tu cora está frozen. Como el hielo dentro de mi copa de roce. Pero te pones caliente después de las 12. Mami, pensé que nunca te ibas a ir. Tengo una pregunta, dime si piensas en mí. Y no te confundas, yo solo pienso en ti.
Yeah, some of these vocals I think just have a little bit more low mid presence than I personally prefer. I would just clean them up just a little bit, just all around 200 to 300 hertz. I don't want it, DeAndre, welcome in. I don't want it thin. I don't want it tinny and nasty. But I think just with the way that the rest of the instrumentation is processed and mixed and EQ'd, that vocal just feels like a little bit muddy in contrast with like the kind of the mids of that bass and the kick and stuff like that, and some of the pads that are in the background. There's like a lot of information between like 100 and 600 hertz. There's just like a lot of mud right there. I would clean up that vocal just a little bit and kind of punch it through with a little bit more clarity as as opposed to like low end warmth. That way it slices through the mix just a little bit more without kind of overtaking things.
Que yo soy poseer. Tengo una pregunta, dime si piensas en mí. Y no te confundas si eso. Dime dónde, dime dónde te escondes. Tiraste mis flores, era de ¿dónde estás? No puedo borrarte. A ti vi la memoria desde el primer día. Desde la primera cita veía el lado. Ese culo me motiva sin decirme nada, nada. Ve dónde estás. Just press rewind and baby, let's go back in time. Estoy hablándole a la luna como Bruno Mars. Bebé, ya tú sabes que yo soy tu only fan. No hay alguien más.
I like the breakdowns here. I like that, like brassy, highly reverberated synth in the background too. There's a lot of cool elements to this production too. And your vocal energy is great too. Like you have a good performance here. Everything feels really consistent. Your melodics are fantastic. You have good repetition and stuff like that. But I do feel like there's a little bit of like a lack of like punch to some of these elements here. Give me 2 seconds. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop this into Pro Tools just for, I have a bunch of stuff already on here, but I'm just want to kind of look at something. Where did this download? Hold on. I'm gonna drop this in the Pro Tools. I'm just trying to look at something. I want to kind of see what's going on here on Pro Tools. You're saying exactly. Yeah, it's like it's missing some like punch and drive, and I think some of that is like almost like said it was the master. So to me, that's not the master. All of those elements, let me switch back here. All of those elements, I'll go here a little bit closer. All of those elements that we're talking about there are things that should happen in the mix. So I think what I'm hearing is just kind of a shaved off mix. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like so smooth and compressed that like nothing goes anywhere. Like nothing actually, like you need, like you want things to be compressed, you want them to be smooth and stuff, but you also need dynamics. You need things to jump out of the mix. You need them to be transient and responsive and open. So if things are like so saturated and so compressed that they're all kind of squeezed into the middle here, then you do just kind of lose the life of the mix. Like you do just kind of lose some of like the openness. Now that could happen somewhat on the master, but you know me, I'm always a fan of going back as far as possible to fix these things. So in the performances and the sound design choices in the mix, making all of these elements dynamic and punchy, because ideally you're just not doing that much on the master and you're just kind of polishing, compressing, gluing, and getting it loud. But right now I'm gonna pull it up here on Pro Tools and we'll kind of see, let's kind of see what we're dealing with here. I'm gonna open this up a little bit here, make this a bit bigger. Because it's like I hear what should be energetic, but it just doesn't necessarily feel like it's giving me a lot of presence or a lot of energy. Okay, let's look at this here. Now you do have like generally speaking, you do have like pretty good transient response here, but let's oh, hold on. I was like, wait, it's playing my other track too. I was like, what's going on here?
No sales de mi mente, me tienen cuarentena. ¿Dónde estás? No puedo borrarte. A ti vi la memoria desde el primer día. Desde la primera cita veía el lado. Ese culo me motiva sin decirme nada, nada. Ve dónde estás. Let's just press rewind and baby, let's go back in time. Estoy hablándole a la luna como Bruno Mars. Bebé, ya tú sabes que yo soy tu only fan. No hay alguien más. Escucho una voz, se dicen que te bote. No sé qué te hice, bebé, tu cora está frozen. Como el hielo dentro de mi.
They're loud over the top. So here's what I'm kind of messing around here. I mean, these are big pushes. This is, 5 dB at 500 hertz. This is, almost 6 dB at like 2700 hertz right here. I'm increasing. So what this is kind of telling me potentially is that in the middle of the mix, there's this kind of like U-shaped curve to it. Maybe this happened on the master, but obviously I prefer things to happen in the mix as much as possible, and then you just glue on the master. But there's a lot, like there's some bright, high saturated stuff, some, kind of like fresh air excitement in those high end frequencies. And you get a big sub bass kind of in the far end. So it feels, big down here and it feels bright up here, but it's like missing like a lot of like kind of like the snap of the snare and the claps and like the high end of the kick and like the vocal forwardness that we're looking for. I hear your vocal clearly over the top of the production, but there's no life. Everything's kind of been hollowed out. There's not really any life to it, which is why you can see, let me go back to the DAW. You can see here on the DAW, I'm pushing these mids like crazy. I mean, 6 dB at 2700 hertz, 5 dB at 500 hertz.
¿Dónde estás? No puedo borrarte. A ti vi la memoria desde el primer día.
Versus.
Desde la primera cita veía en lado. Ese culo me motiva sin decirme nada. Baby, ¿dónde estás? Let's just press rewind and baby, let's go back in time. Estoy hablándole a la luna como Bruno Mars. Bebé, ya tú sabes que yo soy tu only fan. No hay alguien más. Escucho una voz, se dicen que te bote. No sé qué te hice, bebé, tu cora está frozen. Como el hielo dentro de mi copa de roce. Pero te pones caliente después de las 12. No me pensé que nunca te iba a seguir. Tengo una pregunta, dime si piensas en mí. Y no te confundas si es solo pienso en ti. No ando en busca, no, solo quiero a ti. Dime dónde.
Let me kind of see what's going on here.
Dime dónde. Dime dónde te escondes. Tiraste mis flores, era de ¿dónde estás? No puedo borrarte.
Original.
La memoria desde el primer día.
After.
Desde la primera cita veía en lado.
You hear how there's like just so there's just so much more, and you can see how much I'm adding back in. Like and again, this is on the master. This is not how I'd recommend. I'm pulling a little bit of this kind of nasty mud, around 200 hertz or so. Let me tighten up this Q just a little bit, just a tad. Yeah, right around 200 hertz, we're taking away a little bit of that energy right there. But I'm adding in some subharmonics like 60. The Pultec is great for this, like 60 hertz and below. Alec, welcome in, 60 hertz and below. A little bit more at that top end that's been carved out at like 15K hertz. Some of the air and space at the very, very top. I'm reintroducing a lot. 5 dB here, another 5 dB here. I'm reintroducing like a lot of like new life back into the mix, because what I'm kind of hearing is that it kind of feels like a lot has been carved out of this in order to like make it feel a certain way, or maybe take care of some resonance, take care of some like unbeneficial frequencies in the mix, whatever it may be. A lot has been like kind of cut away from this, and it's lost a lot of its like natural like punch in life. Like this to me feels so much more vibrant.
¿Dónde estás? No puedo borrarte. A ti vi la memoria desde el primer día. Desde la primera cita veía en lado.
Versus.
¿Dónde estás? No puedo borrarte.
This is original.
A ti vi la memoria desde el primer día.
Back.
Desde la primera cita.
It's very subtle, but it just has this nice little swell of energy. So this is not the way that I would master this. I wouldn't just throw a crazy EQ curve on the master like this. This looks nuts, but it's just because I'm kind of showing what needs to be reintroduced. And I think part of what is muddy is everything's kind of doing the same. Everything's kind of homogenized into this like one kind of muddy little batch of frequencies, especially in the low end and mids. And you need some things I want that bass to cut through. That bass could probably come up like 2 dB. Your vocal could probably be slightly re-EQ'd, like I said, to pull out some low mud and allow some of those mids to shine and go forward. This doesn't have to happen on the master. I'd prefer it to happen in the source and in the mix. Get that vocal kind of a little bit, introduce a little bit more mids, maybe a little bit more open on the top end, cut some of that low end, mid-low mud around 200-300 hertz. Get the drums nice and snappy and saturated and forward. Get that bass. The bass is carrying all the low end here.
¿Dónde estás? No puedo borrarte.
And it's pretty high. It's kind of up here as opposed to, It doesn't have a lot of that low end energy. So make sure the bass is carrying good low end, layer it as you need to in order to make sure that it's filling out a little bit more, just because it's a bit thin there when you actually kind of go through the process looking at it. So that's kind of like, I mean, those are the main things that I'm looking at here. Let me bring this back into under control. There we go. Let me get back over here as well. But that's what I would focus on. I just think there is life to be had on it. It's not like a bad production. It's not a bad vocal performance, but it is definitely missing a lot of energy. It's missing a lot of stuff that could really bring it to life and make it sound more punchy, more vibrant. I would focus on vocal EQ. That's one part. Focus on vocal EQ, like we already talked about, and then focus on like bass and percussion the most. That to me is like, there's a lot of good ambiance. I think your ad libs are great. The reverbs and auto pan and stuff like that. Gabriel, welcome in. There's a lot of great movement back there, but like the percussion and the bass, which are the heavy hitters of this track, are a little soft to me. They really don't pump. They really don't cut through the mix. I would be strategic with like your EQ, your saturation and compression to get those to really drive through the mix in addition to your vocal. Find the non-negotiables of your vocal, or find the non-negotiables of your production structure and mix around those, right? So the things that can't not be present in the mix, that need to be forward in the mix, especially for something like this, is your percussion. That kick and snare need to snap. They need a punch. They really need to drive through the mix. That synth bass needs to feel incredibly vibrant and powerful. It needs strong low-end energy without mud. It needs to be collaborative with the kick and snare right there, not muddied up together. And then, of course, a clean, clear vocal processed how you want to for the style and for the genre, right? Those three things in this production structure that we're listening to here are the non-negotiables. You need strong percussion, strong, powerful bass, and a clean, clear lead vocal that slices through. Everything else is peripheral to that, right? All of those ad-libs, all those crazy auto-pan reverbs, all of the extra little synths and brass and stuff in the background need to fit around that. But in this case, it feels like everything's kind of molded together into a bit of a mold of mud. And from there, you're not able to really distinguish the energy of the song. So if you can clean those elements up, they're going to be great to go. Clinton, welcome in. You're going to be good to go. Because again, your vocal structure is great. The layers are great. Your ad-libs are great. The production is nice. I like everything I'm hearing about it. It just needs to be balanced in a way that really allows it to punch and to slice. Y'all show some love. Adonis, you're amazing, man. Let me delete this here so it's not mudding up what I'm doing. So it's not just the master to me. It's going to go deeper into the mix always. Like very rarely unless someone's doing something crazy on the master, I will always recommend that you fix it in the mix. Fix it at the source, preferably. Like fix it in the performance, fix it in the sound design choices, fix it in the earliest points. And then of course in the mixing process, bring clarity, bring distinction to those elements. And then the master, if the master's doing too much, yeah, it'll sound bad, but the master, you really shouldn't be doing much. And I think if you're doing a ton of stuff on the master, unless you're like a genius and you're really, really brilliant with it, then you might be in a spot where you're doing some interesting stuff. But for the most part, for most of us that are, self-engineering, David, I got you. I appreciate you. If find yourself doing a lot of extreme moves on your master, you're probably compensating for issues in your mix and in your source. And if you find yourself doing that, I would backtrack a little bit. I'd bypass those plugins and backtrack. Y'all show some love to Adonis one more time. Adonis, I appreciate you so much. You're amazing. Nate is in the building. And then David, I just got yours in, so let me, hold on. Oh, wait. Oh, second track. My bad. I got you. That's you. One moment. I'm assuming we're probably going to double check another master here. So let me get this down here. Dun, dun, dun. So catchy. That's what I'm saying. Like your structure is great, man. Your structure. Let me throw up the line. Really quick. Let's clear here. And let's get Adonis back up. And I got you with your 15, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the submission. This one you've listened to, and I did some tweaks to it last week. Okay, beautiful. So we're same thing. We're largely going to check for like mix and master. I'm assuming is kind of like the structure that we're doing here. All right, let's go 5 left here because we've done 3. Perfect. All right. Retracks in the building. What's up, Retrack? Welcome in. Okay, yeah, we'll look for the same stuff. Even more than the first one. All right, let's go. Quick reminder, y'all. We're going to keep going with some consultations here, Retrack. It's so good to see you, bro. Appreciate you hopping in. Oh, Monty Beats in the building. What's up, Omani Beats? I appreciate you hopping in. Thank y'all so much for tapping the screen too, sharing out the live. I appreciate y'all so much. We're already almost at 10K. If you're coming in and you're looking to submit for a consultation, the steps are right here on the screen. If you're on TikTok, go to my profile, click the link. If you're on YouTube, go to my description. On Twitch, !submit will give you everything that you need. And we are live on all 3 platforms. If you want to see the full wide view, go to Twitch or YouTube. Let's get into it. We got another Adonis track. Let's get this downloaded. I'll throw up the line for a second here once again. Retrack, it's so good to see you, man. Omani Beats, it's good to see the family in here. Omani, I hope you're doing amazing. Let me get this downloaded. I have heard this track before, so this is another one from Adonis. Let me get it saved. 1 second. But y'all keep tapping the screen, keep sharing out the live, and we'll keep the music going. We'll keep the music going. All right, we got it downloaded. All right, this is another one from Adonis. Let's get into it. I've heard this before, so we're gonna focus largely on, I think, mix and master. I'm gonna go ahead and drop it into Pro Tools too.
Tú te miras bellaquita,
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
como del arroz. Cuando estoy dentro de ti me siento como un dios. Y no sé qué haría sin escuchar tu voz. No tengas miedo, baby, solo dame un gol. Cuando tú te sientes bellaca, va de 0 a 100 y lo quiero otra vez. Cuando estás solo y te toca.
Thank you for the heartbeat retrack.
Pensándome. Cuando tú te sientes bellaca, va de 0 a 100 y lo quiero otra vez. Cuando estás sola y te toca, pensándome y mojándote. ¿Cómo se explica, mi bebecita, que te pienso 24/7? Soy tu rey, mami, eres mi misterio. 619 me unifica, mi bebecita. Estar contigo es heaven. Te necesita más en tu vida, ni pienso en otras mujeres. Quiero
Steve,
que
welcome
sea
in.
mi shorty. Bebé, tú eres mi only. No juego como Sony. Si no solo quieres money, the world is just como Tony. Babe, remember what you told me. Cuando tú estabas horny. Cuando tú te sientes bellaca, va de 0 a 100 y lo quiero otra vez. Cuando estás sola y te toca, pensándome y mojándote. Mami, ponte en 4-4-4 y te hago llover hacia un lado. Me enamoré de esa carita, tus poses. El hotel huele a crema de Chanel y perfume Armani. Baby, I love the way you fuck me.
Zero Filter, welcome in.
Tú te miras rica. Brinca, 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 brinca. Cuando tú te sientes bellaca, va de 0 a 100 y lo quiero otra vez. Cuando estás sola y
It's going pretty good. I hope you're doing all right as well.
pensándome y mojándote.
Hold on. There we go. Y'all show some love. That is Adonis once again. I dropped it into Pro Tools. I've heard the song actually a couple times before, so we're going to move quickly through this. Let's throw up the DAW again. So we got Pro Tools up here. I want to get into kind of the same thing. We're just going to go through the EQ and kind of see where things are losing some life. Just because I hear the exact same thing. So this is, I think, probably a typical move by the engineer that you're working with. And again, there's pros and cons to all of this, but it sounds pretty surgically removed. There's a lot of like natural resonance and natural kind of like punch that's been removed. So a little bit over EQ'd, a little bit over surgical, over compressed, over saturated, where you are just missing anything that could like jump out of the mix and give you some life and some movement and some punch has been restrained or it's been carved out. And so you're missing a lot of that natural life, right? You're not getting any of like the movement of these things. They feel very much all kind of clustered together, right? As opposed to those drums. Now you want them to feel, cohesive. You want them to feel like they're collaborating in a way that makes sense for the record itself. But in this case, it's oversaturated, over compressed, and over surgically surgically EQ'd to the point where nothing has any life or any movement to it. So your vocal is just kind of it's kind of squished in with the percussion and the pad and the fuzzy synths and stuff that you have in the background. Yeah, it is. It is very squashed, and which is kind of interesting. You can tell a lot of this is happening in the mix because if as you can see on the screen, I'm gonna bring this waveform up a little bit. This isn't like cut off, right? You know what I mean? Like sometimes when you have like a brick wall, super clipped master, you'll see a lot of this like shaved off. You know what I mean? And this will be really, really inconsistent. It's a fairly open master as far as what you've sent, which just tells me that in the mix itself, and like from the source into the mix itself, into your buses, a lot of the elements themselves in this mix have been over surgically EQ'd. All of the life has been kind of carved out of them. They've been over compressed and oversaturated to the point where there's like no natural punch. There's no natural life left in them. But the master itself isn't like squashed, right? Like you can see that it's fairly open. But that just tells me the manifestation of that just tells me that there's things happening within the mix itself on each element that is kind of crushing these things. But we need to reintroduce some life. We need to reintroduce some movement back to these elements. So I've dropped it in Pro Tools. So we'll just kind of look at a couple things. I'll do largely the same thing we did on the last one, just reintroduce some frequency that's been carved, and see if it doesn't bring it to life just a little bit. Just a question, senior professional. What are your thoughts on people using AI to help them? I'm personally not. This is it's a much longer conversation. I've thought about doing an entire live just talking about AI and having people hop on and ask questions and whatever like that. There's a lot of nuance to this. I'm personally not a fan of it, just because I am personally a fan of humans playing instruments and doing music themselves. That's the way that I know. It is a very hot topic, right? And I think people are like, well, what about sampling? Well, sampling was still played by someone, right? So like there's songs that have done really, really well in sampling off of like splice hoops and stuff that were still done on like a Juno 106. They were still played with real instrumentation. They were still sequenced from an analog circuit on an old drum machine and then processed digitally and whatever, right? So my thing is there's a lot of nuance to it. Right now, the training modalities for AI are utilizing copywritten material that they don't have the rights to, and they're not compensating the people that they're pulling data from. So that's probably my yes. I'm the same way, vintage, but I also like I don't use AI, and I don't ever want to use AI. I enjoy playing music, right? I enjoy playing synths. I enjoy playing guitar. I have live drums here. I like doing those things, and I like all of those elements. I have an urge to prompt vocals, but it feels wrong. Plus, exactly. It's all so that's I think the main thing. I think that's the main thing is the fact that without me, yeah. So like that's the biggest thing for me. It's not that it's like, well, what about auto-tune came around and everyone auto-tune is not artificial intelligence, right? Sampling is not artificial intelligence. Sequencing is not artificial intelligence. There are very real analog mechanisms to how all of these things happen, and digital mechanisms that still require human input, right? With AI, the biggest problem that I have with it is, and there's probably numerous problems to it. One is just I just don't think that's what we should do in the art space. I think that arts should be protected. I feel like arts and creativity are part of what create a beautiful culture and a beautiful society. The reason why we like all of the artists that we like, and like all of the buildings that we like, and the countries that we like, and the different expressions that we like, are because we have this inherent protection of artistic expression, right? And there's like, it has come at the cost of rebellion and pain and a lot of other things that have created all the art forms that we have today, and the reason why we connect to them so much. So to kind of like undercut that completely with AI to just generate something based off of a feeling or emulating soul or pain feels very odd to me, because you don't get any of the context behind it, right? I've seen a lot of that, and there's a lot of nuance to that, but I've seen a lot of that where it's like someone creating a song that typically would be the result of a lot of pain and a lot of struggle and a lot of even like generational frustration and tension, and then just like generating like that. And that's so, it's almost like insulting to the form. Like that's almost like insulting to that entire journey. And then the other side is the stolen craft. Like the fact that my vocals could technically be used and I would never get compensated for it. They could be used as a part of a data set and could be stripped as a part of a data set and utilized to create someone's like random little thing and then not getting compensated for copyrighted material that I've released is pretty frustrating for most artists, even big ones. How about the thought that the people can actually write but just can't sing or play instruments? Then I mean I think the reality is that you should just write, and not sing. I think that singers should sing. I think that musicians should play music and write instrumentals and produce. And if you're a writer, if you're a poet, if you're a songwriter, then you should find a singer. And it might be hard, but it's worth it. There's a lot of commercial limitations to utilizing AI anyways too, and it can be really frustrating in that aspect too. So I just think like if you are not creating art yourself, you're not an artist. And I don't even mean that in like a really negative, like harsh way. It's just like the reality. Like if you're not creating art yourself, you are not an artist. That's what an artist is. It's not like a knock. An artist is someone who creates the art. And so in that sense, I'm just like, if you are a writer and you like have poetry and stuff, you just need to find a vocalist, work with a vocalist, like there's hundreds of millions of people on this app. There's, billions of people on Instagram. Find someone like, hey, even if they're like small, they have 200 followers, but they're a halfway decent singer. Find them, reach out to them. There's someone with 500 followers out there who's a really good vocalist. People in this chat probably. There's, with 500 followers, they have no opportunities, but they have a pretty decent voice. Start sending them stuff, like hey, reach out to them. Hey, I would love to do like a video call through Instagram and talk about, I write these songs and I really don't want to use AI. I want to support the community of human, musicians and instrumentalists and vocalists and stuff like that. I would love to support what you're doing and help put you on and vice versa. And just find some vocalists to work with. It's not that complex. It's not that complex and it's not that hard, especially if you have any desire at all to protect the art form. If you have any, 100%. It's definitely a topic. It's definitely a topic. And maybe I will do some live streams in the future where we talk a lot more in depth about AI and stuff like that. But I personally am protective of the art form of music and art and stuff like that. I think that the context of humanity is what makes art powerful. If you lose that, then society goes to shit really, really fast, because art and creativity does really dictate culture. It really does dictate the attitude of the citizens that are around you. It dictates what you wear. It dictates how you talk. There's so many things. There's so many things about music and art and creativity that it dictates the inside of your home and the style that you choose and the era that you pull for and how you dress and how you talk and what you listen to. All right, all of that. Now, if you undercut all of that, then all of a sudden you have no culture. And I think that's kind of a scary thing, and I think it should be protected. I think that people's culture and how you express yourself in society should be protected. And I think if you slowly chip away at that with AI, then you lose culture and you lose self-expression really quickly. And I think that is to the detriment of humanity. I don't think that's a good thing. Les, welcome back in the building. Sorry, I'm ranting a little bit on this too. No, of course. Zero filter. I appreciate you asking the question. It is a deep thing, but I do think it's deeper than music. I do think that it will very much so be to the detriment of society, because we will lose our culture and we'll lose. I don't think it's going anywhere, but I think people act like there's no choice. It'll be there. Like ChatGPT is not like getting smaller and less prevalent and stuff like that, and less prominent in the way that you use it for business and copy and stuff like that. But I think people want to act like, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. People want to act like you don't have a choice, right? Like every single person does. Every single person has a choice. I'll have to check it out, Analog. I'll have to check it out 100%. And so I think it just comes down to like you taking some ownership of what you do and making a choice. If like we said earlier, if you can't sing, then you can't sing, and that's fine. It's totally fine to not be able to sing. You can either just not sing, or you find people that can. Like that is an option. That's a real option. That's a practical option. And there's ways to do that expensive. There's ways to do it for free. If you can't play an instrument, then you can't play an instrument. That's totally fine. You can learn one, or you can find people that do. So on and so on. Okay. Let's get it. Les is over. I know Les is like writing a whole dissertation on AI. Les is over on YouTube. I appreciate you hopping back in. Yes, we're talking about AI again. He said, what next? Downloading stock photography doesn't make me a photographer. Crazy idea. By the way, for all of the AI apologists, ChatGPT was around for a while. Where are those innovative AI generated books. It's all slop. Yeah. And it's like, I think everyone holds like a very, everyone has like a gut reaction to it, right? I really like humanity. I really like if you're an artist, if you're like, we're about to listen to Adonis here. Adonis, sorry, I'm taking my time. If you're Adonis, like Adonis has their story and their perspective and the things that they're struggling with and the things that they're happy about and the things that are that hold tension in their lives, the skills that they don't have and that they do have. And all of that makes Adonis who Adonis is. Adonis is like, actually, spoiler alert, I'm AI. And all of that makes Adonis who Adonis is, and all the pros and cons to that, right? And I think that's important. I think that I really value the context of an artist and a songwriter and where their music's coming from. So if you like AI music, dude, run. I don't care. I don't care really what other people do so much. I just know the position that I hold and kind of like the creative ethics that I hold when it comes to AI in music and in art. And I just choose not to touch it. That's just my personal choice when it comes to like creating and consuming art. And it's not that I never when what was it called? DALL-E or whatever, like first came out. I was trying it out. I was messing around. I think I used it for a couple artworks that I had. And then it was before they had like announced that it was like stealing other people's art to do it. I didn't know how it worked. And so after I figured that out, I just stopped, right? There's like, I think 1 or 2 songs that I had released years ago that were using like the first DALL-E or whatever it was called, that AI image generator or whatever, before Suno went on. That was way before the music stuff came out. And I tried it out. I was like, oh, this is weird and interesting. And then they showed that it was like stealing from other artists and stuff like that. And I, at that point I was just like, no, I'm not gonna touch it. So, I don't, if you like consuming it, if you like creating with it, that's just up to you. It's just not something that I will ever mess with. I don't personally value it. All right, Adonis, let's get back into this track. Oh, that's not the right one. There we go. All right, we're gonna run it into Pro Tools. We got Pro Tools here, so we already talked about this. We're gonna get into the details of it. Let's run. And then quick reminder: if y'all do want to submit for a consultation, you can easily do that by going to my profile, clicking on the link. If you're on YouTube, go to my description. If you're on Twitch, go to hit ! Submit, and we'll get you up on the board for a consultation. Let's get into it. I need like AI said. Literally every 4 posts on TikTok is an ad for AI. And it's really frustrating just because I don't care about it, but it's forced on me constantly by these companies. And I probably need to post more about it. I probably should talk more about it on this stream and bring some people on to talk about it, because it's really like an interesting crossroads that we have right now in creativity. Are we going to pursue the advancement of our heritage and our culture and our society and like our respect for where we come from, or do we just lean in? It's here to stay, and do we just lean in and we just let it all go and we completely lose our culture and everything becomes one block of aliased digital music and that's it? All right, let's run it. Actually, I'm gonna draw. It's in Pro Tools, so let's go here. Boom. All right, same thing. We got the EQ pulled up, so we're going to look at some of the details here. Hold on. All right, so we'll look at some of the same. I was like, wait, hold on, what's going on? I was like, hold up 1 second. John, welcome in. We'll look at some of the same EQ curves, so on and so on.
Tú te miras bellaquita como del arroz. Cuando estoy dentro de ti me siento como un dios. Y no sé qué haría sin
escuchar. It's a bit of a pocket kind of right in here. You can see right in here, you're losing a lot of information, right? So it's like bright way up here at the top. Got a bunch of big, big frequency down here. So this little pocket right here has got a lot going on. Especially once, let me get a little bit farther.
Tú te miras bellaquita como del arroz.
So there's a lot right here. Not a lot right here. Let's bring this up a bit.
No tenga miedo, baby, solo dame un gol. Cuando tú te sientes bellaca, de 0 a 100 y lo quiero otra vez. Cuando estás sola y te toca pensándome. Cuando tú te sientes bella acá, va de 0 a 100 y lo quiero otra vez. Cuando estás sola y te toca, pensándome y mojándote. ¿Cómo se explica?
Yeah. This mic has a chain on it for sure. All right, let me make some. So this is Adonis's track. I'm gonna make some tweaks here, and then we'll kind of talk about it.
Tú te miras bellaquitote. ¿Cómo se explica mi bebecita que te pienso 24/7? Soy tu rey, mami, eres mi misterio 619. Me unifica mi bebecita, estar contigo es heaven. Me necesita más en tu vida, ni pienso en otras mujeres. Quiero que seas mi shorty, bebé, tú eres mi only. Lo juego como Sony, si no solo quieres money. The world is yours como Tony. Babe, remember what you told me cuando tú estabas horny. Cuando tú te sientes bella acá, va de 0 a 100
Original.
y lo quiero otra vez. Cuando estás sola y te toca.
You hear, I mean, the vocals just come to life right here. Like I said, so this is, a similar, I got to move it over. Sorry, you can't see it all the way. I'll move it over to the middle here just a little bit more. You can hear just the difference in dynamics by allowing these like mids. And again, this is not going to sound perfect because the way that we're processing this is over the master and I'm trying to reintroduce frequencies from the vocal and stuff. But you can hear like just the difference in life. From here, so much more like flat and even and mellow. And you're just missing a lot of the punch, a lot of the drive behind it.
¿Cómo se explica? Necesita más en tu vida, ni pienso en otras mujeres. Quiero que seas
Original.
mi shorty, bebé, tú eres mi only. Lo juego como Sony, si no solo quieres money.
Original.
The world is yours como Tony. Babe, remember.
You hear how everything kind of muddies up together. Everything kind of becomes one homogeneous image right there, and you lose a lot of clarity. You lose a lot of support there. So those are a lot of the things that we're talking. It's kind of the same thing happening here. It's a bit over EQ'd, a bit over compressed on the individual elements, right? Because again, you can kind of look at the master and you can look at the waveform here. I'll bring this off. Like you can look at this waveform, and it's not it's not like to the extreme where it's like you're not getting any dynamic range at all. Like you can see some peaks and valleys here and stuff like that. But you can also see like once the beat comes in, this dynamic really doesn't change a whole lot. Like you're getting a lot of information. Like you never get back to this, right? You never get back to any like lower dynamic moments, right? Once everything comes in, it comes in pretty strong, which is fine. Like there's nothing specifically wrong with that, especially in this genre. But I would encourage you to like allow the individual elements to breathe a little bit. So it sounds like probably the drums themselves, maybe on a bus, this all could be happening in buses too, right? Like the vocals are still a little bit muddy, low mid, 200-300 hertz, which is why here we've carved a little bit of space out of here, just about 2 dB ish out of these like low mids at like 200-300 hertz right in here. Tribalists, welcome back. We're introducing some far low, introducing some far high, and then just regaining kind of the same thing. Honestly, the same curve. So it's probably similar. Danny, welcome in. Probably similar between this and all of the other mixes because this is largely the same thing I did on the last one. Very close to the same, where we're introducing more like of the like nuances, right? Like this is all one big sound, but we're introducing some subharmonics, we're introducing some air and some high end, and reintroducing some punch and some drive behind like the vocals and the drums. So much more dynamic.
¿Cómo se explica mi bebecita que te pienso 24/7? No, tú te sientes bella acá.
Yeah, and I think it's like it's by default because everything has been. I agree in a lot of senses. Verseless, welcome in. I agree in a lot of senses. I think largely what's happened is everything has been so surgically cut, right? So they're sweeping any resonance in the vocal. They're cutting all these elements out, right? In the drums, if the hi-hats are like two on this like drum loop or whatever it is, like if they're too cutting, they're slicing it out and they're cutting everything back and they're being very surgical with their EQ to like soften everything, right? Or it's like Gullfoss like crazy and it's just carving everything out. Whatever. It could be any number of things. What's up, Ursula? It's good to see you. It could be any number of things where they're carving a lot of space out of this. And then what's happening is the only way then for that vocal to sit higher is just to make it really loud, right? So the only way, because everything's been so carved out, is to just push the vocal over the top. So it's very like distinct and very disconnected from the production, as opposed to it feeling like it's all one really cohesive record, right? So I do think that's part of it. I do agree that it does feel like the contrast between the two is giving you a pretty disconnected feel, as opposed to everything really working together. So I would really focus. Too much always. I think any soothe is too much soothe. I'm just kidding. I know some people use soothe and they like it. Uncanny, welcome in. They like it. I've never been the biggest fan of it. I think just any plugin that encourages the abuse of it is always an issue. And I feel like soothe and Gullfoss and fresh air and like stuff like that, they just tend. Okay, Danny, I'll double check. Thank you so much for hopping in. Adios, thank you so much for hopping in as well. Jenna, welcome in. They tend to be abused. They're not inherently bad plugins. I've used them before. They're not inherently bad plugins, but they are also the most abused and most misunderstood plugins. And so they end up giving you pretty poor results if you don't really know what's going on. And I think that's the struggle with a lot of these. Okay, let me go back to the original over here. We'll get to the outro of the track, but I think the same thing is happening. It sounds like on all of your mixes, Adonis. So I would definitely focus, definitely focus on allowing these elements to breathe. Try not to overprocess. Try not to like pull all of the life away from these elements. Let the vocal breathe in the mix. Let the drums punch through. Now, control them and compress them and process them in a way that makes them cohesive, but not in a way that strips them of their life and of their dynamics. That'd be my biggest priority with what you're doing. Y'all show some love to Adonis. ASAP, is good to see you. I appreciate you hopping in. Hey, thank you so much, Tribalist. It's all love from over here. I appreciate you a lot. Thanks for hopping in. Okay, let me double check this real quick. Danny, let me double check for yours really quick. And then just quick reminder, if you are wanting to submit your music, dude, of course, anytime. If you want to submit your music, just make sure that you follow the steps right here. All of the steps that are right here on the screen will give you exactly what you need in order to submit your song and get it up on the board for a 20 to 30 minute long form consultation of the structure of your music. If you're on TikTok, you find everything right here at the link. On YouTube, go to my description. That's right underneath the live stream. And if you are on Twitch, !submit will give you everything that you need. Here's the line currently. We're pretty fresh right now. So let me get Adonis off of, oops, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Clicking on the wrong screen. And let me see, Danny, I'm going to double check for your email. I don't think I have a full submission yet, but I am going to double check and see if I did get an email in. I did get an email, so just make sure that you do the full submission. That way I can get you up on the board. And make sure y'all are tapping the screen. Thank you for the 12K. I appreciate y'all so much. Keep liking the live. Make sure y'all are sharing out the live with a few people. And don't forget to send your heart me for the day. It does help boost the exposure of the live as well as your music if you are getting yourself up on the board. Daniel, I got you. It's so catchy, man. It's such an incredibly catchy song. Now I can play this here while I'm waiting for Kaisi. Welcome in. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Thank you so much for hopping in. This is going to be a really. I still have a lot that I literally just started this today. Let's see. Miles, tied to the sun. What's up, Miles? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I appreciate you hopping in, bro. Got you, Danny. This is I'm building a big catalog of like 80s synth pop, synth wave, stuff like that. So this is one track that I just started today that I've been working on to hopefully be pitched and sent out in the coming months. So I'm building a large catalog for some of this, and Yeah, dude, definitely. And then it opens up quite a bit here. I've done a bit. I'm trying to do a lot more, hence this. But yeah, that's gonna be a fun track. I want to build that out. I might even add some vocals to this. Because it's a cool feel. I could see it doing really well, especially for sync. Like this whole breakdown here, I could definitely see doing well in the show. All right, let's Jessica, welcome in. But I've worked with a couple libraries, Vintage View, and then I've gotten placed with a couple of them. I think they're underneath Sony and Warner. Some of the ones that go to like MLB and NFL and stuff like that, where I've collaborated with another producer. They bring me on to do like rock vocals for them. So with that library, that I have a couple albums with them that I track track rock vocals for them, and then another producer handles all the production and mix. So I've got some songs placed there with them, and it's yes, now same. I'm trying to do a lot more on my own because I have no control over this particular library. I hopefully have a call with another producer here in the coming weeks. I just had a call with another producer and agent this last week, and I had a call, and I'm hoping to have another call with another producer this next week where we can collaborate. They have all the connections, but I just have the skills, I have the output and stuff like that, and I would like to work in that space a lot more. It's very challenging. It's such a like closed door, quiet space, and so it's a numbers game. You got to do the most. No, literally, it's the same. So that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm just like, okay, I gotta just keep chipping away at it, and I've got to collaborate with as many people as possible to get stuff pitched, because it's not just like producing stuff and getting it out and working with artists, but you've got to find the people that have the in there. You've got to like work with publishers, you've got to work with the labels, you got to work with agents, you got to work with people that are collaborators in the sync space that are looking to get into other genres and hopefully build a large form catalog that can be pitched. So it's crazy, it's kind of a grind. It's a crazy grind, but that's why I'm trying to just build a large catalog that can all kind of work in my favor. We've got Danny in the building. Danny, hop in the chat. I've got you right here. I'm excited to get into Danny's music. This is, started this the other day. Would love any type of feedback. I've been having a bit of trouble with processing the snare sounds and stuff like that. Let's get into it. Quick reminder, if you want to submit, follow the steps on the screen. You can find that link on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So make sure that you're tapped in. If you would like to submit for a 20 to 30 minute long form consultation, you want to get into the details, you want a professional second set of ears on what you're doing creatively, that's what this live stream is all about. It is not a quick review. There is no trash or pass ratings or polls. We're going to go deep, and we're going to get into the details and the nuance of what you do. If that sounds good to you, then get yourself up on the board. Otherwise, hang out with us for a minute, see what we're all about. All right, let's get into it. This is Born Again by Danny. Let's dive in. I feel like it's been a minute. I'm excited. I hear synths, and I'm happy. Ochi, welcome in. Could I see through the eyes? Flashing lights, strobing through the night, Could I see through the eyes? On the floor, can I say no more? To the ground, born again. Transforming, heart racing, my body is pulsating, and I'm born again. Appreciate you hopping in. Born again. bass is nasty. I like the synth a lot. Nice modulation there.
So heavy, steady, speak to me. Come on, get steady to the beat. Flashing lights, strobing through the night, Could I see through the eyes? Transforming, heart racing, my body is pulsating, and I'm born again, born again. Dance like nobody's watching me.
I was singing the same thing, Vintage. I was going to say the same thing. Definitely got some Depeche Mode inspiration. Let's go, man. Y'all show some love. That is Danny right here in the chat. Let's go, Danny with 2 eyes. This is Born Again by Danny. I'm so excited to get into this. This is right up my alley. Excuse me. This is right up my alley. I love the synth textures. I love the modulation. It's nasty. It's gritty. It's kind of, noisy and muddy sometimes, but also kind of lends itself to tension. Structurally, I love it so much. I think you have like great dynamics. You go into these massive saw synths with the vocal and then break it down to the Born Again. I love it. Like you got really great dynamic range and really, really good structure. So let's run it from the top. And then we'll get more into like sound design and production, I think, because I feel like that's like your main pain point, a little bit on the mixing side, but largely sound design and production structure. So let's dive in from the top. I'm going to pull up some drums and Pro Tools, and we'll talk about a couple things as far as like you mentioned your drums, specifically your snare. So let's get into that. I mean, I love all of this, so this is great. All right, let's pull up the DAW here. Hey, this is cool.
Could I see through the eyes? Flashing lights.
I'm gonna run it from the top too. I actually really like your ad libs, and I like all these different details that you have here. It like reminds me a little bit of like the talk box, like vocoder stuff that you would hear a lot of in like the late 80s, early 90s and stuff like that. So I actually really like that a lot. I would maybe come down, Django, welcome in. I would come down with some of those a little bit, and then maybe have some slightly different processing on your ad libs after those vocals on the flashing lights, flashing lights, flashing lights. You have like your formant shifts on those vocals, like those lower formant, like little altar boy, lower formant shifts on those vocals there in between. But they're so loud that they still just feel like another layer to the lead vocal, and it kind of pulls your attention back and forth. It might be nice to like pull those back a little bit, put them outside a little bit, and then maybe even go a little bit more dramatic with your processing, like a little bit more filtered, a little bit more formant shifted low, or something to make it more distinct from your lead vocal. So it doesn't just feel like your lead vocal is bouncing around and you're constantly like shifting your attention around. It would be nice to get some like clarity and some punch from those. So let me back it up from the top, and we'll listen for that a little bit, and then I'll look for some drums here as well. Your synth is great. I mean, your sound design I think is awesome.
Flashing lights, strobing through the night,
I mean, literally, Hold on. I got too many things happening. Hold on. I got too many things happening. I got too many screens and too many things that are press and play all at the same time. I got to bring this track up to the top so I can manage it. Okay, let's bring this up here. Immediately, I'm gonna go ahead and this is a TR-707. So this is a Roland. This is a Roland drum machine from the 80s. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good, Life. I got you. So we're gonna do two things, and we'll just kind of see how stuff like this layers in. We're gonna keep the low end here. So we're using saturation knob here to oversaturate. It's going all right. It's going pretty good. To oversaturate, but I'm keeping low. It's a free plugin if anyone's interested in it from Softtube. But this allows me to saturate the mids and highs, to give some weight to these drums, a little bit of snap, while maintaining most of the low end presence here. And then the only other thing, again, this is a TR-707. The only other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a gated reverb. So I'm going to go to, because it's 80s, man. All of your sound design is 80s here. So we're going to go to gated reverbs, and we're going to do a large gated snare, and we're going to bring this down to about 25%. Let's go down to 20. Let's shorten up this decay. Super tight. Let's bring out some of the mud here. So we're going to go up about 150. Okay, now we already have some 80s tone here. So here's kind of what I'm listening for, right? I'm gonna go ahead and turn this down a little bit too. We don't need it this loud. I think most of this you can kind of keep where it's at. I know it's getting cold. And then start to add in. If you want to keep this lower, if you want to keep this a little bit lower, you can. You don't have to add in all of the extra percussion right away. I just want to make sure I find like the right tones and the right sounds here. I want to mainly listen for when the snare comes in a little bit later, but we can bring back those ad-libs just a little bit as well to regain some clarity. JB, welcome in. Love the resonance on that synth right there. It's nice and punchy, like a nice reso sweep right there. That sounds great. Love it.
Born again, transforming, heart racing.
This is great. Love the dynamics here. This is fantastic.
Body is pulsating.
Shadi, welcome in.
I'm born again.
Great layers, great harmonies. Yeah, this structure right here is fantastic. But like that, ooh, so you have this great stack of like choral vocals that feel so consistent, and then that auto-tune formant shift comes in, and it's like so loud that to me it feels like a different era, and it feels like a different part of the structure. I would like filter that out a little bit. I would pull it back in the mix, maybe have a bunch of reverb on it, pan it like 20% more to the right, like kind of get it out of the way of everything, and kind of bring it back to the background. It's so forward that it sounds like kind of a different thing happening at the same time. I love stacking harmonies in electronic tracks. It's so fun. Yeah, you crushed it. Like those harmonies you're segmenting here, your structures, fantastic. But that little format shift, the ooh, just feels like something different. It feels like a different version of it, right? I just pull it back, position it, and process it slightly different. And you know, make sure that it's not overtaking the mix when you bring in those ad libs and those layers. On the big stack you have there, beautiful. But on these like verses and the hook, I would keep it a little bit cleaner.
Born again.
So immediately, I'm going to push this even farther. We're going to go more saturation. And I'm going to bring down the levels. So it stacks a little bit more. We're going to go higher on the reverb. Boom, right there. And then we'll bring this in.
Born again.
Let's go higher. So you can hear how just having even just the layer even just the layer of another kit right there. XOK, welcome in. This is very, 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 very popular in the 80s. I mean, any genre, any era really, but especially in the 80s, they were doing a lot of layering of multiple drum machines sequenced and live drums, and maybe a combination and a mix of the two, which obviously is very popular nowadays too. But especially back then, it was like that was something they were doing pretty fresh, because a lot of those like early Roland sequencers were coming out in the late 70s with the early CRs, and then into the 80s and early 90s. There was a lot of sequencers that were born, right? And so you'd get a lot of like gated reverb on like the Roland 808s, 909s, 707, stuff like that. Of course, like Linn drums, LM1 and 2, 9000s, Oberheim DMX. You'd get a lot of those stacks. So I would encourage you to do the same thing in the same way that you have like 8 synths that are all building this stack of tone and of character that you have in here. I would layer your drums too, very strategically. Sometimes I'll have a drum and it's literally just for fuzz. Like I have another synthwave track that I'm working on that I think it's a Oberheim DMX is like my main drum sequencer. And then I have like a Linn drum layered behind it. And I have a live drum that's like only like a really distorted snare, but it's like barely there. So it's like you get this snappy like Oberheim DMX snare, and then this little bit of like crunch and fuzz that's happening right behind it from the live drum set, right? And it's layering in a way that just makes a lot of sense. So it's like in this track, your snare is nice and beefy. Like it has a lot of weight to it. I actually like it a lot, but it's missing some of like the kind of like the mid forwardness of maybe another sequence snare or a clap or something like that I think would be good to layer over the top of it. So like here, if I pull it out, oops, it cuts. So let me back it up. If I pull it out, you hear how you're kind of missing some of that like mid forwardness. You're missing a little bit of that like drive, some of the vibrancy that happens when you fill out those mids a little bit more. Because right now, the one snare that you have that I do like, I like the tone of it. I like the texture of it. It's very like transient. So you get like and you might be compressing it really hard too. Maybe it almost sounds like an 1176, like really fast compressor. Potentially could just be the snare sample that's like grabbing it and pulling it back really fast. You get this kind of like, sharp transient snare, but then it's like really, really suppressed in the mix. That could be part of it. Could even just be the sample is processed that way. But then adding just the it's very 80s, and it gives you a lot of that texture that adds, a lot of character to the mix, especially if you layer it underneath the drums you already have. So my initial is just like layer your kick and layer the drums that you already have there with another drum set that fills out what you want. So you're like, man, I like these drums a lot, but they're not giving me everything. Well, add what it's missing. So you're like, man, it's missing kind of like the clap. It's missing a little bit of those mids. The other snare I have is really thick and cool sounding, but it's not very like sharp and transient. So find a kick that is, right? The thing that might be missing, just fill out with a second drum set on there and then tuck it back in the mixaways. Like in this case, I just have the Battery 4, that's a TR-707 Roland drum set with with saturation and a gated reverb, and that's it. Just that one little portion right there adds a lot of weight. Adds a very, very classic 80s tone from like a drum sequencer or a drum machine. So I would find something like that. Parallel processing, sure, 100%. Something like that is going to help bring in some weight to what you're doing without you having to like feel like you need to EQ your way out of your sound design. I see people do that a lot where they're like, I have a sound and I don't like it. And so they crank these crazy EQ curves to mold it into what it is instead of just choosing the right sound in the first place, right? Or layering the right sounds in the first place. Fix it at the source. I'm going to say that 100% of the time. Get it right at the source. Choose the right sound, choose the right drums, layer and mix properly and balance properly, and then process strategically and stylistically. But get it at the source, right? So if you're missing something in your drums, add what you need or take away things you don't need. But try not to rely, unless you're being like intentional and strategic, try not to rely on these like sweeping crazy changes to like totally change your sound design unless you like are really intentional with the exact thing that you're looking to do here. All right, let's get back into the track. That to me is like one of the main things that I hear. And then same thing here, because of the auto tune and the formant shifting and the layers, you're getting everything kind of stepping on each other's toes, right? So some of those background formant shifted vocals with the auto tune, there's changing pitch and modulating pitch at different times. So you hear the auto-tune hit at different times. That's where it gets kind of noisy and kind of busy. I would prefer that you, for one, you can align those a little bit better. That might be, a bit more intentional for you. Or like I said, back off of them, but like 4 or 5 dB, get them in the background a little bit, set them in the background with some chorus, a nice, like a Studio D chorus, pan them offset just a little bit, filter them just slightly. That way they're not stepping on the they're still a cool sound, a cool tone, but they're not stepping on the toes of the lead vocal so much. This, so good. Love it, love it, love it, love it. This really does sound a lot like Depeche Mode. Quick note, just make sure you get a de-esser, after your brighter EQ. And if you have a couple of EQs in there, if you have one where you're doing a big high push to brighten up your vocal a lot, follow that with a de-esser to help pull down, 5, 6K or so. And take some of the harshness from your sibilants right there, just because it does slice through the mix a little bit. You do have a really bright vocal, which I think is fine. I think that's good. Paired with your reverbs, I think that works well in this genre and in this era. But just make sure that you're suppressing sibilants if it's cutting through really harshly right there. So a quick little de-esser, just to control some of the harshness is going to help you out a lot. Is that racing? That's right there, cuts through really harsh. My body is pulsating, and I'm born again. Born again. Get the layer on there. It makes a big difference. It's a cool layer. And then right in here between the wall of sound from your synths and those background vocals doing different things with your against your lead, that is definitely where you're getting a bit more. Some of it's happening in the synths. You can clean and polish it up just a little bit as well, and make sure that if you have a synth that doesn't need a lot of low end information, it's just there for kind of brightness and grit and texture. You can carve out some of that low end so they're not competing as much. Just make sure that you're processing all that that stack of synthesis in a way that leaves room for all those synths to be there. I want it to be noisy. I want it to be loud. It should be a bit noisy. I just don't want it to feel like everything's competing in the same space. And then same with the vocals, like we already said. That's where it gets a little bit muddy for me in this last little section here, but you can carve some space to create, you can create a hole for each of those elements to live in, and you'll be in a good spot. Track, man, it's really cool. Y'all give it up one time for the family. Composer Jordan, welcome in. I know. TR-707. I would love to get there was a while when they weren't that expensive, like $600-700. It'd be fun to get one. Until then, we've got plugins for the things that we can afford. But y'all, please show some love to the family. Danny, I appreciate you sending that in so much, man. You're a very talented producer and composer. You're really, really intuitive. I feel like with your melodies and with your production structure, things tend to just work, right? Like a lot of the decisions that you're making, the taste that you're utilizing here, I feel like works really well. Like I feel like you're crushing it, man. I'm definitely feeling the 80s vibe now, though. Same, dude. I can't get away from it. It can't. I'll be like working on any track and it sneaks its way in there. It could be any genre of music, and it's like I was working on a progressive. I don't do this too often, but I was working on a progressive metal track for a client, and they're like, "Hey, go ahead and throw a couple of those synths in there." And I was like, "Hey, don't tempt me with a good time." Next thing you know, we got a stack of 80s synths in this progressive metal track, and it sounded beautiful. So I can't help but sneak in the synths. It just happens. The 80s are making their way into any music that I'm working on. If it's up to me, but y'all show some of the Danny one more time. Just a quick reminder. Just a quick reminder that if you do want to submit your music for a consultation, these are 20 to 30 minute long form, multiple listen, deep dive consultations on the structure of your music. So the mix and master, production elements, sound design, lyric and song structure and formatting. We will go through multiple times, spend 20 to 30 minutes getting into the details and the nuances of your music. If you want to submit, all of the steps are right here on the screen. Just follow these steps here on TikTok. If you are over on YouTube, just go to my description. And if you're on Twitch, hit !submit right there in the chat, and you'll see this exact same link that's right here on the screen show up for you right there as well. Same, don't worry, I'm always adding synths to rock tracks and stuff that would typically not have it. No, you got to, man. You got to. Y'all give it up one more time for Danny. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for hopping in today, man. I appreciate you sending this in. Y'all, we will be live again tomorrow as well. We will be live tomorrow as well, and I'm pretty sure I'm waiting for an email back. But I'm pretty sure, dude, of course, Danny, anytime, absolutely anytime. I appreciate you a lot. I am pretty sure that tomorrow I will be tracking some synths and maybe some percussion, like digital percussion and synths for a client. I'm waiting on an email back. If they email tonight, then I'll start that tomorrow. So that means that we might do some of that on the live stream as well. So if you're interested in watching some session work, well, we'll dive into the synths that we got right here, right there in the back. We'll start working through some production for this client. Then let me know, and I'll live stream that as well. Otherwise, I'll just do it offline, where I'm just kind of doing it for myself. But if you want to catch some of the creation of a synth track or some extra production I'm going to do for a client, then definitely let me know if that's something you'd be interested in, so I can hop on. All right. Let me double check a few things here really quick, and then let me know if anybody else would like to submit for a consultation. Otherwise, we will go ahead and hop off the live here in a second so I can make some dinner. But let me give it a minute here. All right, I'm gonna get another. I'll give it like another 2 minutes, and then we'll hop up. Let me switch over. I forgot you can't see. I really like what's happening with this now this DX7 has been kind of we've done a lot to it. So let's see. This is the original sound. This is the let's see, hold on. Let me get it. Push it up. Greg Dean's in the building. What's up, Greg Dean? Welcome in. There we go. There we go. All right. This DX. No. Yeah. This DX7, or is it the Mellotron? No, it's the DX7. This DX7 has a whole lot going on to it to get the sound and the shape and the structure that I want. So this is the original DX7. Nothing wrong with that. It's just a bit smaller and softer than I wanted it to be. So we started with a couple things. The first was a preamp here. So we're using the EQ, and I'm pushing this preamp pretty high. So I'm getting some like transformer saturation here, some harmonics here. We're brightening it up quite a bit, pulling out some mids and boosting low end. So I'm cutting 50 hertz out at the bottom, but then boosting 100. So you get this nice punch from the Neve. I'm following that with 1073. So then we got the 1073 here. This 1073, I'm pushing pretty hard as well. Let's push it a little bit harder, actually. Let's see. I want about 7. 7 is a sweet spot. About 5 to 7 dB of reduction here on the 1176. I'm going to follow that with the Studio D chorus, and we are using the 3rd modulation mode for the Roland Studio D chorus here. And we get that. Then we're following that with the, this is the TSAR reverb. I love this reverb. Honestly, this is a great reverb. I think it was free. And we have it really, really tight and completely wet. This is honestly what is shaping this sound quite a bit. So the pre-delay is pretty low, but it's long enough that we're getting kind of this like doubled stacked effect. And then we have a really, really tight room reverb here. It's 0.6 seconds. So it's pretty quick. And then the wetness is at 100%. So we're largely just hearing the reverberated signal here from the synth. And then I just have that followed up with, I believe, some mid-side processing. Yeah, so I wanted this to pull some space away from where the vocalist is going to sit in this mix and where some of the other synths sit in this mix. So from the middle channel, I'm pulling out some frequency between like 200 and 1,000 hertz to get some energy away from the mids and low mids there and allow the vocal to sit there, some of the fundamental frequencies of the vocal to sit there in the middle channel in mono. And then on the outside of the mix, I'm pushing almost 7.5 dB at 5,000 hertz so that in the middle of the mix, this hollows out a little bit. And on the outside of the mix, this feels bright and wide. And the result is a really, really powerful sounding synth. Such a cool feel. Such a cool feel. In context, it's a Mellotron over the top. Love it. Such a cool tone. All right, y'all. I think that is going to that's going to do it for today. I love and appreciate y'all so much. Once again, I will be live again tomorrow. So if you are wanting a consultation for your music, if you are wanting some help with your track, you're looking for tools when it comes to you working on your productions, your mixes, your vocal structure, stuff like that, definitely get your music ready, your revisions and everything ready for tomorrow. We'll be back live again on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Quick reminder as well, for those of you who don't know, or if you haven't been here before, you're lurking on the outside. My name's Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. It's what I do for a living. So if anyone is interested in the services that I offer, whether that be professional mix and master or a full production project, or even just session work where people hire me to track synths, guitar, drums, vocals, layers, stuff like that. If you need just to build out the remainder of your track and you need a session musician to fill in those gaps, I do that all of the time. In fact, I'm going to do that again tomorrow. So if you're ever interested in services, just shoot me a message on any platform, TikTok, Instagram. I prefer Instagram, but shoot me a message, shoot me a DM, or you can reach out through the obsidiankey.com, which is at my link. And do the contact form there, and I'd be happy to respond to you there as well. We can work out the details of your record, what it would look like to collaborate, timeline, budget, so on and so on. So if you're ever interested, just shoot me a message at any point. I'll be more than happy to work with y'all. I love and appreciate y'all so much. That is going to do it for the stream tonight. Hopefully we will see you again tomorrow as well. Y'all have an amazing, amazing rest of